Hello, Oscar. Grandpa here. Oh, actually, it's Grandpa and Moosey. Turn the right way around, Moosey. There. Hi. You going to say hello to Oscar? Hello, Oscar. Yeah, Moosey's very well, Oscar. He enjoys the sun. See, look, it's all it's over there. It's really sunny. Oh, I can't show you. And so it's hello from us two and from Granny as well, and Auntie Anna. And hope you're well, Oscar, and having fun time, and hope Mummy and Daddy are okay. Look forward to seeing you very soon here in East Coker with your little sister Annabelle. I've seen some very sweet pictures of you helping Annabelle along when you're playing recently. You've been a really good boy. Anyway, shall we have a little bit more of the reading from the Playful Panda? What do you think, Oscar? That'd be good. And the little girl's asking Zoe about her role at the zoo, and she explained that Great Uncle Horace travelled round the world looking for animals to help. And she said, "My mum's the rescue zoo vet. We live in a little cottage here in the zoo, so she can treat any animal whenever they need her. And I spend as much time with the animals as I can, especially at the weekends." "I can't believe you live here," the girl said wistfully. "You're so lucky." "I know," said Zoe, beaming. She was very proud of her special home. "And are the giraffes your favourite?" the girl's mum asked. "Amy here loves giraffes." She was so excited about seeing them, so this is the first enclosure we came to. Zoe smiled. "Would you like to feed Daisy?" she asked. "She's already had lots of acacia leaves for breakfast, but I have an apple here that you can give her as a treat." Amy's mouth dropped open. "Really?" she breathed. "I would love to." I expect you'd love to give an apple to a giraffe, wouldn't you, Oscar? Zoe reached into her pocket and passed a shiny green apple over the fence. Amy clutched it, looking nervous. "Just hold your arms out straight and keep your hand flat. She won't bite. She's really gentle," Zoe promised, smiling at Daisy. Amy's dad pulled out his camera and started taking pictures as Amy held the apple out. Very carefully, Daisy bent down her long neck and sniffed the little girl's hand. And there's Daisy the giraffe sniffing the little girl's hand with the apple in it. Then she picked up the apple in one bite and started crunching it happily. Amy gasped. "Her nose is so soft," she whispered. "Did she come from somewhere in Africa?" Amy's dad asked. Zoe shook her head. "Daisy's mum, Dolly, was rescued from Kenya. But Daisy was born here in the zoo in the middle of the night. I was the first person to see her. Meep and I came to give Dolly her breakfast in the morning. There was Daisy, already walking around." That's amazing, isn't it, Oscar? When Amy had finished giving Daisy her treat, her dad ruffled her hair. "We'd better go and visit some of the other animals now, love. We've still got lots to see," he told her. "How about the hippos next?" "We'll come back to see Daisy before we leave," her mum added. Amy grinned at Zoe. "Thank you so much for letting me feed her. I loved it," she said, her pinks cheek with happiness. The family walked off down the path, chatting excitedly. Zoe waited until they were out of sight and sighed. "That was close," she said to Daisy. "I didn't hear them walking up to the fence. It's lucky we weren't talking." Daisy nodded, and Meep squeaked in agreement. "They might have guessed our secret, Zoe," the little lemur chirped. Zoe grinned. Most people thought her life was amazing because she lived at the rescue zoo. But there was something else unusual about her. Only this was a secret. And you know what it is, don't you, Oscar? On her 6th birthday, Zoe had found out that animals talk to people all the time. Most people just hear squeaks, grunts, roars, and other animal noises. But some people can understand everything they say. Lucky, special people. Like Zoe. There we are. 6 years old, Oscar. I think that's rather like you, isn't it? I bet you'd like to talk to animals. So chapter 2 now, and it's called A Double Delivery. And I don't know what they are. They might be kingfishers, I'm not sure. Come on, Meep, said Zoe. Let's head to the otter enclosure. Mum said the babies are getting a new toy this morning. Daisy bleated gently at Zoe, who smiled. Of course we'll see you later, she promised, reaching out to stroke Daisy's soft muzzle. Frankie told me you've been playing chase with the rest of the herd, and I want to come and watch. That'll be fun, won't it, Oscar? Daisy bleated again and fluttered her long dark eyelashes. Zoe giggled and nodded. Okay, she said, if you're very good, I might bring another apple with me. The young giraffe grunted happily and trotted back to the rest of the herd. Zoe made sure the gate was safely locked before heading down the path. It was a warm autumn day, and the zoo was busy with visitors. Meep scampered along in front of her, darting nimbly through the crowds and along the top of the fences. Some people pointed, and one lady gasped, "Look, that monkey has escaped from its enclosure." Zoe giggled. "Don't worry," she called. "Meep's not a monkey. He's a lemur, and he hasn't escaped. He's one of the most special animals at the rescue zoo, and he's allowed to run free." Wow. They passed the colourful kingfishers, yes, they were kingfishers, perched around their leafy lake home, and the capuchin monkeys in their lush jungle. There was an especially big crowd gathered in front of the next enclosure. Luna was a beautiful Arctic wolf with a soft, shaggy white coat, a jet black nose, and pale blue eyes. Last month, her gorgeous cubs had been born, a girl called Stella and a boy called Sam. Their home was a snowy clearing surrounded by a circle of pine trees, glittering with ice, with a gap at the front for visitors to look through. Luna and Sam were curled up asleep together, but little Stella was wide awake and playing happily with her mum's fluffy tail. When she saw Zoe, she gave an excited bark and rushed up to the fence. Zoe waved at her. If the paths had been quieter, she would have stopped to speak to the cub. But with so many visitors around, it was too frisky. And look, there are the Arctic wolf cubs. Aren't they so cute? Aren't they lovely? A little further along was another beautiful enclosure, but this one was empty. It was full of bamboo plants with a waterfall trickling down a rocky cliff. Excuse me. 3 low wooden platforms were built in the middle, connected by ladders and ramps. This used to be the home of Su Lin, the giant panda. Zoe couldn't help feeling sad as she walked past the empty enclosure. Su Lin had died a few months ago. Zoe's mum had explained that Su Lin wasn't hurt or poorly. She was just very old. Zoe had cried for ages, but tried to remember that Su Lin had loved her life at the rescue zoo. She had been a gentle, cuddly creature, full of funny stories about growing up in China with her little sister, Bai Yun. Zoe bit her lip and glanced at Meep, who jumped into her arms for a hug. They both missed the giant panda very much. And look, there's where Su Lin had her perch. Yes, in the enclosure. Once they turned the corner and saw the otter enclosure ahead, Zoe felt more cheerful. Noisy squeaks of excitement were coming from their riverside home. Zoe and Meep ran up to the fence, and Meep scampered on to Zoe's head for a better view. Jess, the otter keeper, was holding a yellow bouncy ball above her head. The baby otters, Otto and Benedict, were waiting on the riverbank, eagerly bobbing their sleek little heads up and down. Then Jess threw the ball into the water, and with a splash, Otto and Benedict jumped straight after it. Otto reached the ball first and sent it high up into the air with a clever flick of his snout. Can you flick a ball with your snout, Oscar? I think it'd be a bit difficult, don't you? His brother squeaked happily and turned a roly-poly under the water. That looks like fun, Zoe called, laughing. Suddenly Meep's ears pricked up. What's that noise, Zoe? The little lemur asked. Zoe listened. Over the squeaks and splashes of the otters, she could hear a strange honking sound. I don't know, Meep, she said, puzzled. It's a bit like when some of the geese caught a cold last year. And look, there's Zoe and Meep, and they're watching the Playful Otters, aren't they? So they're watching Otto and Benedict. Or when Oscar tied his trunk into a knot by accident, Meep suggested, giggling. I don't think it's an animal sound at all, Zoe said thoughtfully. It sounds more like a car horn playing a funny tune. But how would anyone drive a car into the rescue zoo? The paths aren't wide enough. The noise was growing louder now, and Zoe could hear the low grumble of an engine. Otto and Benedict were peering curiously over the fence, and in the trees above them a flock of wild green parakeets started squawking excitedly. Suddenly a huge gleaming motorbike appeared from around the corner. With another honk of its horn, it sped down the path towards them. The driver was wearing a big shiny helmet, a safari jacket, and a pair of old-fashioned goggles. A white scarf was wrapped around his neck. Meep squeaked with joy, and Zoe gasped. You know who it is, Oscar, don't you? Yes, it's Great Uncle Horace. With a screech of brakes, the motorbike pulled up next to them. Its number plate said Rescue 1, and it was covered with colourful stickers showing all the places in the world that Great Uncle Horace had visited. Wow. Attached to it was a bright red sidecar with the hot air balloon symbol of the Rescue Zoo painted on the side. A large and very grumpy-looking bird was perched inside it, her blue feathers fluffed up. Kiki was Great Uncle Horace's hyacinth macaw, and they went everywhere together, just like Zoe and Meep. There's the picture. That's nice, isn't it? Great Uncle Horace lifted off his goggles and beamed at them, his untidy white hair sticking out from underneath his helmet. Zoe, my dear, Meep, you little rascal. It's wonderful to see you both. I've missed you very much. Hooray, hooray, gooseback, chattered Meep. The funny little lemur found it hard to say Great Uncle Horace's name, so had made up his own version instead. We miss you too, said Zoe, grinning. Can't believe you're home, Great Uncle Horace. We thought you were somewhere in Asia. I was in Asia, my dear, northern China to be precise, and I brought back a very important delivery to the zoo. Great Uncle Horace's eyes twinkled. I came as fast as I could, by boat and then by bike. That's why Kiki here is rather cross. We drove along some very bumpy roads, you see. Motorbike is not her favourite way to travel. Well, Oscar, what's going to happen? What are we going to hear about next time? Anyway, that finishes our reading for today. And I'm so pleased that I've been able to read to you and look forward to seeing you soon. And Daddy and little Annabelle as well. So lots of love to Daddy and Mummy, and to you and Annabelle, and lots of love, that is, from me, Granny Shark, and here's Moosey as well. So Grandpa Shark, Granny Shark and Moosey Shark are wishing you goodbye, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye, Oscar. Bye.